Hey guys, today I'm analyzing Doja Cat's chart. Yay. So I wanted to do this for ages, but I've only just had the chance to do it now. So if you haven't watched my 2022 year ahead astrology video, that's a quick insight into the astrology for this year. It's the previous video. I just had to mention that in case you missed it. Just fix this a little bit. Oh my gosh. Thanks. Okay, I think that's going to have to do, I'm not sure. Guys. All right. So Doja Cat, I love her music. I love her whole vibe. I just love her. I've seen some of her Instagram lives. Her personality is really quirky. Um, she's definitely she's just got a very Uranian quality, which is interesting because it's in her chart as well. I'll talk about that, but I'm going to talk about everything here. So here is her chart, and then on the outside we have transits as well in red. So you can see that they're the green ones on the outside here are progressions. So I might talk about a little bit of that. I'll see how I go. But yeah, anyway, so let's get into it. So Sun in the 12th house. Interesting. I remember I analyzed someone else's chart with the Sun in the 12th house. I think it was Selena Gomez. Pretty sure she had either Sun or Moon in the 12th. I can't remember now. But the Sun in the 12th house is very creative. It's in Libra. So Libra is a very strong energy here because she also has a Libra rising and Libra Mercury. So she has a lot of focus on other people in her life, her relationships, and what her relationships bring into her, into her personal life, and how the people around her influence her. That's like a big factor for her. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this right because this is really annoying me. Okay, it's a little bit better. Yeah, so Sun in the 12th house is someone who has a very rich inner life. So, usually creative people have a placement like this, but also very spiritual people. So people that have like a deeper connection to life through either their creativity, or they feel some deeper connection through with what they do for their career. So people with Sun in the 12th house crave a sense of purpose, and deeper than just like a material sort of life. They crave like a deeper sense of purpose, but they also get drained very easily from too much external world stuff. They need to have a bit more balance in their life. And with Doja, she's got that Sun in Libra, which really needs balance. So she's probably someone who's very aware and across all different things, especially with her creative side. And say she's across all different things to make sure she gets the balance right. She's probably going to feel that feeling like, no, I need to change this about it because it doesn't quite feel right. And it's going to be based on Venus related energy. Venus rules Libra and Taurus. So Venus being her sun ruler, she's very aware of sense of some kind of balance in regards to how she's trying to get things to feel. So, it can be this feeling of frustration around this as well, especially because the sun is it's actually in fall in Libra. So obviously the sun's exalted in Aries, the opposite sign Libra, it's in fall. So, she may have some struggles where it comes to getting the balance in her life the way she wants it. And there may be other parts of her that's like, you know what, I don't give a shit. I don't care. She does have that attitude a lot. Like in some way, I don't think it's in her performing life. I think she's very perfectionist when it comes to that. And we see that here with the moon in Virgo. Moon in Virgo is like, I've got to get this right. It has to look perfect. I want it to be perfect and based on one's own standards of perfection, not always what other people think. At the same time, though, that said, her moon is in the 11th house of other people, of groups, of working with a team. So, and friendships as well. So her friendships would be super important to her. The people that support her and are around her are going to be very important to her. And I'd say with Virgo energy, Virgo can be very understanding and very analytical as well. So she probably analyzes her relationships and she loves that kind of thing, especially with the sun in Libra. And actually, I'll just say the time here for her birth time is verified by her herself. I saw a video where she was talking about astrology a little bit with some app that she was looking at. It wasn't the same as what I'm using here, something completely different, but it was based on astrology, I'm pretty sure. And she was talking to a friend about compatibility in astrology, which is very much someone that has strong Libra influence is interested in that kind of thing. And she rang her mum on the video and verified her birth time. Her mum said 7:14 a.m. And this is on, I got this from also Astro Theme, her birth date and everything. So just to mention that for those who might be like, how do you know the birth time or whatever? She mentioned the birth time herself or her mum mentioned it on a phone call. So anyway, Virgo moon. Virgo moons are very particular. They're very pedantic. Okay, so she would look across all, very high attention to detail when she's creating her performances, and when she's going to do her shows, or when she's on tour, or whatever however you want to label that. She's going to be very organized with her. Well, in her mind, I would speculate that in her mind, it's going to be like, this is my vision, and I want to execute my vision as close to, in the reality, as close to how I see it in my head. And it's going to be very much like her focus. And she's going to be very much like, this is my creative vision. I've got to get it as close as possible to reality. So that's what I'm seeing here with the moon in Virgo. Moon in Virgo, as I said, they're very analytical. They're very sharp-minded. Also, it's a placement that is very good for people that are writers, because it's ruled by Mercury. So it's a very active mind, very active, very analytical, very good with words, very good at writing, putting things together, making sure that what comes together is aesthetically pleasing, with the sun and her rising also in Libra. So again, her relationships with her fans would be very important to her because of the Libra ascendant and the sun in Libra. The 12th house is a very spiritual house. It can be that she feels very connected to her fans in a very deep spiritual way. And though that said, with the North Node here as well, conjunct her sun, this shows a strong destiny in regards to her creative path. When the North Node and the sun are linked, the sun can be career, like it's your core personality, but it's also your career. Okay, so it's where you shine. And interestingly, the ruler, the sign rather, that rules the sun is Leo, and she has this on the midheaven, 2 degrees Leo midheaven. So she's meant to shine for her creative gifts and for her talents. And Leo is, as the midheaven is about performing, it's about performance, it's about creating an aura about yourself. And with Venus ruled sun and Venus ruled ascendant, it's something that, if you look at her, she's very beautiful. I think she's gorgeous. And there's an aesthetic with her. It's like, she's not just a singer who just gets up there in a black dress and it's all about the singing. It's about the performance, the dancing, the overall look and feel of everything, the whole way it comes together as almost like a performance, like an act in a way. And with the sun in the 12th house, it would be like this energy for her of getting into a character as well, obviously still being herself, but getting involved in this whole, that's the 12th house energy, this whole sort of vision and making the vision come to life. And it's like very creative processes going on here for her. She's very no nonsense as well with a moon in Virgo. Moon in Virgo people are just very no nonsense, to the point, and no, this needs to get done. We need to work hard at it to get it right, and we will keep working on it till we perfect it and get it on point. And if you look at her dancing, at times you see more the Libra sun in the 12th house, which is very free flowing. Other times, it's all very choreographed and on point, but other times she's more free flowing. So it's kind of a mix of being free and letting go, and then very on point. Everyone, being timed correctly for certain aspects of the performance when she does the dancing and stuff like that. Moon in Virgo can be very critical and very judgmental as well. So I'm sure she has that side to her. And sometimes, when she speaks, she can be very blunt. Like I've seen this on her, not so much in interviews and things like that, not so much, more on her lives on Instagram. I've seen a few of them. She's just very funny and very quirky, which I think Virgo has a very quirky side to it as well. It's like, this is me, I'm a crazy cat lady. It's literally Doja Cat. And, I'm not saying she's a full-on crazy cat lady, but she's definitely got that quirky aspect to her personality that's just like quirkiness of Virgo. It's hard to pinpoint. It's kind of earthy. It's kind of like, this is me, this is what I do. And she'll do the lives just doing her makeup or talking about whatever, and it's very kind of it's her moon's in the 11th house, it's the Aquarius house, and it's talking to the public, but Virgo's like just day-to-day stuff. It's like she's just going to get up there and talk about day-to-day stuff. She's not going to get too deep. you know, she's not going to get too deep into more sensitive things. It's more Virgo, think sixth house, it's like your daily life, you know, little things that you do. And she's very incidental about the way she talks about, oh, I'm having, you know, this drink, I'm going to be going to a party and I'm just going to do my makeup, you know, it just kind of keeps it on that lighter level. She doesn't really get super deep with things. Now, she does have a deep side to her though, because she does have obviously the 12th house energy here. So she has a very sensitive side that I'd say she's quite protective of. And then she's got this Venus in Scorpio, which is quite deep when it comes to love, but it's kind of quite unaspected. It only has a trine from Saturn. So Saturn from her 5th house of romance trines her Venus. So that does indicate she has very strong loyalty for people that she has a deep soul feeling for, people that she feels a deep connection to. She'd feel quite loyal towards those people. And I'd say she probably has some people around her that have been around her for a very long time, like close friends or, you know, one or two. But Venus is in detriment in Scorpio. So themes and issues around betrayal can definitely be a problem that she may have been experiencing in her life. Also, I want to say it is noted here that her rising sign is on the analytic critical degree, whatever you want to label it as, of Libra. She's really a cusp Libra Scorpio rising, obviously predominantly Libra, but just tipping into some Scorpionic energy there. And then, you know, her whole first house is Scorpio. So, you know, you can see this energy, I think, in her performance where, and in the way she sort of is an artist in that sense. It's aesthetic with the Libra sun and the 29-degree Libra rising, but there's also a very sort of sexual undertone. She, you know, her music and what she writes often is about relationships, love, sexuality, you know, intimacy and stuff like that. So it's a strong part of who she is, expressing that sort of deep inner goddess archetype, and the darker sort of aspect of it, I think, comes through at times. Other times you see the lighter Libran energy, other times you see a more intense, passionate, you know, don't mess with me kind of Scorpio energy, which I really love, actually. Then you see this intense sensuality with her with the second house. You know, second house is ruled by Taurus, and it's in this grandiose sign of Sagittarius. So we have Jupiter, Mars, and Pluto in Sag. Oh, sorry, are they all in Sag? Hang on. Mars and Jupiter definitely are. What's Pluto? Oh no, Pluto is 29 of Scorpio. Interesting. That's also analytic degree. So she's got a couple of critical degrees there. Now the Pluto, it's on 29 of Scorpio, but it's making an out of sign conjunction to Mars here. So that's very intense. Hang on, let me just fix that because I'm not putting Jupiter in the mix there. So Jupiter is not conjunct Mars. It's a bit too wide for a conjunction, but let's focus on the Pluto conjunct Mars. This is a very passionate person, someone who has a lot of energy, someone who has energy to burn and use physically. So again, we see this is in the physical house of Taurus, and this is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is an energy that, you know, it's very fiery, it's very passionate, even though Pluto's right on the edge of Scorpio and Sag. As I said, so Pluto, 29 of Scorpio, right on the cusp of Sag. That's a very tight conjunction to her Mars. So she has a very, the way she conveys her intense, passionate energy through her music and through her dancing and through the way she is, this is very real part of her personality. It's very real for her. She has a lot of, I would say she's someone that has a lot of intense physical energy and an intense sexuality as well. And it's very sort of hard in some way, like very hardcore, I would say. And it's very like, can be a bit extreme, because whenever Pluto touches anything so closely in the chart, especially Mars, which is our passion, our drive, our sexuality, that's very intense energy with Pluto and Mars. It can be explosive, you know, it can be in relationships, it can be some extreme dynamics, especially with significant males in her life. Some power struggles there for sure, and some, you know, dominance, submission issues, I would say, especially with the Virgo moon. And what else? The Pluto conjunct Mars can be very strict with itself, and so can the Virgo moon. So she would be someone who can be very disciplined when she wants to be. Other times with the sun in the 12th house, it's like, leave me alone. I want to be alone. I don't want to talk to anyone. I need rest from the insanity of this world. You know, that's what the 12th house energy can feel like. It's like the world at times just feels too much. I need to pull myself away from it. I need to just chill and be my own quiet zone, read a book or watch a movie and just escape my reality in some way. And also performance could be an escape for her as well, very much. So I'd say when she's performing, she probably, as long as everything's running well and there's no glitches or problems with the performance in terms of like lighting or music, or, you know, she would be concerned if things were going wrong, obviously, especially with the Virgo moon. She'd be really pissed off if anything's not been organized behind the scenes as it should be when she's performing. But I'd say when she's performing, she feels pretty much like she's escaping her reality, but in a good way, in a way that feels right to her. Also, people with Venus in the first house are very beautiful, and the first house is how you project your energy consciously or subconsciously. It emanates. So with Venus in Scorpio, she does emanate this sexual goddess energy. I think I said that before, but I just wanted to mention it again because it's quite a strong factor there. So I'm not going to talk about everything. I'm not going to go super in depth, but I'll just keep going until I feel like I'm done. Let me see. So she's got Saturn in the 5th house. So again, Saturn shows a lot of lessons in love from a very young age. Love would have been difficult for her with Saturn in Pisces. She would have sort of possibly struggled to find what felt right for her romantically. And also she could have had some feelings of rejection in some way. Saturn can be the father, so there could have been something with her father where there could have been some feelings of rejection, or Saturn is retrograde as well, I just noticed. So when Saturn's retrograde, there's something with the father. I don't know the story about her father. I don't know really in depth about her life. I know some stuff, but never heard anything about what she said or not said about her father. But I'd say because Saturn's retrograde, there would be an issue with dad where he's not present, or there was some kind of problem with their relationship, I would say. Whenever Saturn's retrograde, you do see that in particular. And if Saturn's in a detriment or fall sign like Aries or Cancer, issues with parents is more detached. There's less comfort and affection shown. But with Saturn retrograde, it's kind of similar. But it can also just be the father wasn't present for some reason, okay? And this is it's kind of subconsciously affected how she relates in romance. So she might, when she was younger, be yearning for this connection, but then it could have affected her in some way where she felt like she couldn't get what she wanted. So she kind of changed her approach, or she kind of had to face some hard lessons in love, I would say, for sure. Especially with males, because the masculine principles in her chart are a little bit compromised, let's just say, with the Pluto conjunct Mars and Sun in the 12th house. The masculine energies here are afflicted. So her dealings with men could be maybe even especially very masculine men, could be some issues that have been patterns or some soul lessons that have been difficult. All right, let me just have a quick look at a few other things. So Neptune square Sun, Uranus square Sun, and Uranus is also opposed to her midheaven and square her ascendant. That's the quirky energy that you see. She's got an unpredictable side to her, when she is talking like on her lives, for example. You just don't know what she's going to say next. Like it doesn't necessarily always follow kind of a logical conversation. It might just be randomly her just being random, very random energy. And it's also this energy with Uranus square Sun and ascendant, where other people can feel a little bit off put by her at times. Like people around her might feel like she's contradictory or a bit inconsistent on some things. I wouldn't say it's to do with her performances or anything like that. Maybe she changes her ideas up at times. Like she might be starting a train of let's do this, and then she's like, no, I've got a better idea, let's do this instead, and I really want to do that. And that sometimes could throw people around her off because they're like, oh, we've just been working on doing this, now we've got to change it. I'm just speculating, but that's what I would say could be a thing for sure. And also it makes her behavior a bit erratic. Even with herself, she might be like, you know what, I know I changed my mind, or I know I am inconsistent, but so what? It's when Uranus makes hard aspects, like it does in her chart with, as I said, she's got the square to her Sun and square to her ascendant opposes her midheaven. It can make a person unpredictable. It can make them also seem a bit cool and detached. And the double Libra influence can also have that effect because Libra is an air sign. It can be very kind of have a quality about it where the person's sort of light and in their own head, but they give you that space, because air always gives space, especially like air, sun, moon, or rising. And air, sun, moon, and rising people like space. They don't want to feel constrained, restrained, or like controlled. And, you know, with Libra, it's a little bit more amicable in that sense. It's a little bit more flexible because it's like, well, they'll compromise for relationships. But when you have Uranus involved, like Uranus square, like I'm saying, squares her sun and her ascendant, that's an edgy quality and almost an electric aura. And yet at the same time, it can be a bit blunt and a bit sort of, how can I put it? A bit psychologically perverse in some way. It's like, but hang on a second, I thought you just said that a minute ago. And then she'll be like, yeah, I did, but so what? Now I think this, and so what? Deal with it. You know, it's that kind of like rebellious kind of pushback energy. And look, I'm not saying, obviously, I don't know her. Again, as an astrologer, I'm purely speculating on what I'm analyzing here and what a little bit of what I've seen about her. But, you know, I've mostly just watched performances of hers that I like. I haven't watched too many interviews. I've seen a few bits and pieces. So that's what I sort of see here and what I gather a little bit from her. Let's see. So she's got also Mercury conjunct Chiron very closely in the 12th house. So I'd say her personal private world can sometimes, she may experience things where she feels like she's struggling mentally at times. I would say, again, I'm speculating. I don't know the state of her mental health, and I wouldn't, you know, speculate too much on that. But just seeing Chiron with Mercury, it can be like where someone's own mind does a number on them, and it's something that she has to sort of sort through over time. She'd probably benefit from like having a really good friend that she can talk to and just kind of be really close with her own struggles and just have a sounding board in her life, because as a Libra sun and Libra rising, she's someone that needs that kind of person or people around her that she trusts to converse with in order to understand herself. So that's very much a Libra thing. You know, I need to speak to someone to understand what I'm going through and hear their point of view. I may not take on their point of view, but I just need to hear some objective thoughts, you know, that kind of thing. And especially with the moon in the 11th house of friendship, that's also a strong feature. She needs people around her. As much as she needs her alone time, she needs people around her to support her and to understand her. Also, she's got moon conjunct part of fortune here, which is great. That shows when you have a close conjunction with part of fortune, some really amazing blessings in your life, some luck in regards to friendships, people that she works with in teams, like the people closest to her that she works with. I'd say she at times have really amazing people that really help her bring her artistry and her music together and work with her in a way that really enhances what she's trying to do. And that's going to really benefit her career. So a lot of luck for friendship and teams that she works with, groups that she works with, fans as well. There's a lot of blessings, I feel. Like her fan base would be really supportive and really supportive of her, I think. And then here we have in the third house is Uranus conjunct Neptune. Uranus conjunct Neptune is a feature of people born, you know, of this particular generation, you know, in this period of time in 1995, in that range. A lot of people have this, you know, this going on. So, but it's in her third house of creativity and writing. So she would have like genius moments where she just channels stuff from on high, and then she just flows with it and creates, you know, that's her creativity, that's her music, that's her writing as well. So she's very skilled, I'd say, in regards to her music and writing, very, very skilled. And also in regards to putting it all together. And the Virgo moon helps with that as well. And what else can I say here? I'm just going to look at some aspects here. Uranus trine moon is great here. She has Uranus trine moon from the third house of writing to the 11th house of performance, of the public, of receiving from the public, and the house of, you know, it's the house of rewards and receiving, as I said, so from the public. So look, she's very skilled, and her emotions and her writing are very tied in together, and she's able to channel that very successfully. What was I going to say? Let's see what else. Pluto trine midheaven is good, and Mars trine midheaven is really good too. So that shows longevity. Pluto trine the midheaven here from the second house, which is a financial house of earned money. That's very good. It's a very pretty tight trine there. So it shows that with Mars, which is her drive and her ambition and her goals, and what she's pushing towards with her energy, it really fuels her success, and she's able to do well financially because of the efforts and the energy that she's putting into things. And also Pluto trine as well, which shows potential longevity, success, the ability to see through the BS as well. So she has that ability to see through things where with her career, she'd be able to cross out things or cut out things that she can see are not good for her and go towards what feels more authentic. And she's really tapped into that authentic self-expression, like in a big way. So she's a type of performer, I feel that based on what I'm seeing here and what I see of her, is that she's not going to sell herself out. She would rather, kind of do something less and do it authentically than do more and do it in a way that feels false to her. That's what I would surmise from her chart. All right, just quickly, I'm going to look at some transits. I know I didn't talk about everything, but that's like a lot of stuff there. I might just mention quickly the North and South node. So the South node is in the 6th house of Aries, which is showing that she has to learn in this lifetime, or she's been learning to kind of let go of always feeling that she has to do everything on her own and on her own terms. And she's coming towards that North node in the 12th house in Libra, which is sharing with others, working with teams, working with other people, compromising with others, and finding that balance between what's her vision for her independent goals and how does it work with others around her, and with a kind of more sense of flow with what's available around her. So coming out of maybe some kind of extreme stubbornness a little bit and coming more into relying on others, working with others, getting support from others with the North node in Libra in the 12th house, and also go with the flow more, like not being so regimented and militant about things with the South node in Aries. So yes, she still has those qualities in her and she'll still use them, but she's learning that when she goes more towards the North node, she feels like everything falls into place much more easily and in more of a flow than when she's trying to be controlling and hold on to every little detail to such an extreme. So that's what I would say. South node in the 6th house could be like some issues with pets as well, like really feisty pets, or having a pet that's really a bit wild in some way. So I think she has cats, but maybe she has some issues with her cats, because I know for me, I've got South node in the 6th house as well, and every time I try to have a pet, just something always goes wrong, or it's just like there's always some struggle around it. It's hard to explain, but South node energy does that. All right, just quickly on the transits she's got coming up. So this year she's got Jupiter going to a 5th house of creativity. This is going to be a good year for her with her creative expansion. She's probably going to be writing more. She's going to have a lot of ideas, a lot of creativity coming up. North node's going into the 7th house of relationships, so she could meet someone new or have some developments in relationship and find that there's a need to compromise more with others, to understand where others are coming from. She's will go through this year a bit more of a sensitive time towards others and having to sort of pause and make time for relationships. When the North node meets up with Uranus, I think that's in August this year, there could be some unpredictable events around significant people in her life. She has a year where the moon is still in Virgo, in the progressed moon. It's her the progressed moon's coming back to her lunar moon, so that's significant, but that's not just yet. That's not for, quite a number of months yet. That's still for another couple of years, so I won't go into that. But with the progressed moon in Virgo this year and for the next couple of years, this is going to be a key time for her writing a lot of songs. There's going to be a lot of creative energy, especially this year. It's a key time for her for ideas, for writing, for organizing, for being very focused on her work. So there's a lot of developments also this year. From May 11th onwards, Jupiter will start to trine her midheaven. So that's really good, from around the 5th house of creativity to the midheaven. So beautiful. So she's going to have a good year for her career this year. There's a lot of good things happening, flow of creativity, flow of energy. So that was it, guys. If you have any questions, put them below. I haven't gone through every single aspect. Obviously, I don't, I usually don't go through every single thing. But one last thing I will say, in her placements, she only has, she's very sort of airy and fiery, as we see with the midheaven in Leo, ascendant in Libra, sun in Libra, Mercury in Libra, Mars in Sag. I forgot to mention about that specifically. Mars in Sag at 0 degrees is pretty wild. It's like someone who can also be very funny, but it's 0 degrees, so it's a critical degree. So she's really learning about what she values in this life, with it being in the 2nd house of values and what her beliefs are. Sagittarius is about my beliefs, my passions. I'd say she's a very passionate person. She's probably very restless as well with that 0 degree Mars in Sag. And she might be a bit preachy at times, like a bit of a teacher to others, like telling people, you know, shouldn't have done that, especially with the Virgo moon. You know, Virgo moon and Mars in Sag is like very much pulling people into line or telling people, you know, don't do that, you know, I don't like that, and correcting them. You know, it's very much that kind of energy, which is quite funny, I think. But anyway, I love Doja Cat. She's great. So I hope you enjoyed the analysis of her chart. Thank you for watching. And as I said, if you have any questions or comments, post them below, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.